Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Brandon Mason Show. So glad to have you guys here. It is Tuesday, July 9th. I kept forgetting the damn date this morning. I kept waking up going, I got to shake the cobwebs. I got my coffee right here lined up because we have a lot to dial into this morning. Obviously, talking about the Miami Dolphins, Tua's contract. Should he get that big deal? Should he not get the big deal? But again, guys, welcome back to the show, July 9th. Hope for you guys are getting started early this morning with a happy Tuesday. So I'm getting everything set up over here on my side. And I apologize, yesterday was out of control. We had a lot of different things going on, functionality, engineers, people coming in software, a lot of new people that are kind of working the background of the show, people that I had from before, and also some opportunities to get people in live to talk here. So we're fixing some audio, fixing some programming, so I apologize for that yesterday. But today we're going to go into some conversation. I'm just so glad the NFL is back in action. A lot of people, including myself, when you're going through the offseason, you get to, February, March, April. There's some beautiful months out there, a lot of places. The change of season, it's great. You go through winter, and then all of a sudden you come back around. You're like, wow, it's spring. It's all this. But what happens is football goes away, and you go, man, I'm missing something. You keep looking, trying to find it. It's because football's gone, and football's back, and we're ready to go. We're getting started with the Miami Dolphins. So today we're going to dial into that and have some interesting conversation. So the first conversation on the topic of today's show, first and foremost, is the Dolphins' needs for 2024 NFL season. What are they looking for? What do they need? And I got to tell you, last season ended tough, right? Like you played the Chiefs. And that's tough because you go, okay, that's just not going to work out. Some of these cold games, helmets breaking, Patrick Mahomes, great. But I want to go into a lot today what Tua's doing, the contract he could or should he get, does he deserve that contract? We're going to talk about Tyreek Hill, Jaylen Waddle. We're going to talk about OBJ. We're going to go to, obviously, the coach, McDaniel, and all kinds of things today. But first, most important, what are the needs? What did they need from last season into this season to be successful? Because they were pretty damn good. I mean, they had some opportunities. They just didn't beat teams that were great, right? They beat some average teams. And people are like, well, the Dolphins are pretty good. Then they have one bad game. Dolphins are pretty bad. And it was like they got a great running game. With Raheem Mostert, they have two at the quarterback position. They had great weapons. Receivers, they had they had linebacker core. They had defense core. They got rid of Christian Wilkins, which that hurt a little bit. I think he was a big-time piece of the defensive line. That was not that good, if you ask me. I know it comes down to money. It comes to what you can keep, money you need to use to do other things. But if you're in the chat right now, I appreciate you. Throw the dice in the chat. If you're in the Mason mob, put that in there. Good morning to you guys. We're going to start getting a lot of people into the live stream mornings as we move forward into our show, the play-by-plays. But first and foremost, I got some images here I'm going to pull up. But, look, this is the main event. This is the topic of what's starting the offense. This is the key factor for the Miami Dolphins, for the offensive position. You sit back there, you have the play call, and this is the guy, the leader of the team, if you will, the person that has to make a lot of decisions behind the scenes and make things happen. And at the end of the day, can he do that? He played well, right? He played well. We're going to go into injuries. We're going to go into a lot of that. We're going to talk about what they brought to, last season in 2023 and obviously ended in 2024 with the Super Bowl and all that. But 2023, 2024 season, how that ended and what they could do possibly this year with McDaniel and some opportunities. So first and foremost, what I want to say is the Dolphins stayed true to the running game. I think that's important. A lot of teams, they started getting away from that over the last couple of years. They're going to start paying receivers big-time money, started getting rid of running back positions, got rid of the H-back position, which I think is a problem. And being that I played running back, obviously a little more biased to the situation, but I'm just saying you have to have a great running game to win games. That's my opinion. And you look at the teams that were there, even Pacheco with the Chiefs, hey, great running back. I mean, not that big, not running people over, but they had an offensive weapon at the running back position to make things happen for play action, obviously for Patrick Mahomes. But for Tua, they got Raheem Mostert. He did a great job playing. Running the ball was fabulous. I mean, it's not like they needed any more from him. It's, you need two weapons back there. Tua has to have the play action pass, come out to the line of scrimmage, line things up, and get ready to go. But my conversation and question is now the defense, right? They bring in some new players, some new trades, some opportunities for the defense. I think that's a good situation for them. Getting rid of Christian Wilkins, like I said, I think that was a problem. They have to make sure they fill the defensive line right in the center of the defensive line, the core piece of that. Obviously, on the other side, the center is making calls, and that's a big part and dynamic of the Dolphins for defense. They got weapons on the offense side. We're going to go into that right now. Before we go into more of their needs, I want to talk about this for a second. is Tua the long-term solution for the Miami Dolphins? Like, is he the long-term deal? I know people coming here today and having some conversation on here, conversing back and forth. I know, Brian, you said, look, they need to pay him, right? People in here right now, actually, I'm going to go on here for a second and put a poll in the chat. Should the Dolphins pay Tua big money? No, actually, no. How about this? Should the Dolphins extend Tua's contract? I want to see what you guys think in here. Just put yes, no, right? I want to see what you guys think. And I think this is important for the NFL and conversation. I'm going to go into that right now of what's actually going on. Good morning to everybody that's in here right now. See people coming in. Raw Podcast, D. Coleman, Annie, Mile High, Pitbull Mama, everyone that's coming in here right now. The house is in the building. How the hell are you guys doing? Brittany, Devon, Kenyatta, everyone that's coming in here right now. I want to see what you guys think. Candy, Lions Talk by Chat Sports. Mike, I appreciate you coming in and show love and appreciation. Thank you. You guys mean a lot to me. Thank you. Brian, you're always here. I appreciate you. In there right now, should they pay Tua or should they pass on him? And these are questions that I had last season. Look, I like what Tua brings to the table. I think he's a good quarterback. And I pulled these pictures up. I watch him coming through the tunnel. He's got the charisma. He's the guy. I mean, he's a great person. He's a leader. He's not out getting in trouble, right? He's not causing problems. This is what you want for a quarterback running your team, a role model, someone who's a good person. He can get vocal if he needs to. Is he an overachiever from a vocal perspective? Maybe not, but you don't really need that. I think you just need someone who steps up to the plate and gets it done. I like Tua. I like what he brings to the table. My biggest concern is the health risk, right? A lot of people are like, can he throw the deep ball? That's not the biggest problem. I mean, yeah, there's certain times where I'm like, I think that could have been a little different. But I had some pictures here I pull up, and this is the concern I think that people have is the long-term solution and his health conditions. I'm going to go into that too. But if you look at this picture here, this is what a lot of the memory of, some of last season, season before that, people getting worried. But this is what people talk about. This is a concern for the Miami Dolphins is if you pay him big time money. I'm just talking from a perspective of financial, if it's your money. It's for me to sit back and say, yeah, give Tua some money. I think that's easy for me to do because he played well. I don't see anybody replacing him. I think he played well. But if it's my money in my pocket, right, sometimes you have to think like that. Imagine you have the money in your pocket and you have to go out and spend for your quarterback. And you see him on the field like that. And then on top of that, you had people getting fired for letting him get back into the game, right? So that's another concern. Let me sip this coffee for a second. I'm going to see what you guys think too. So what I'm saying is this. There are times that people get hurt because of X, Y, Z. To see Tua go through that and then say, look, he's back on it, the concussions, the injuries in college, some of these things, they show up, and you say, every quarterback has concussions, right? Every running back has concussions. You're getting hit. You're hitting your head all the time. It's kind of normal, right? Like that's kind of the norm of the reality of the NFL. So I'm not saying that that's the problem. What I'm saying is, are you going to pay Tua $50 million? You pay him $80 million, $100 million? Because here's the situation. If you sign Tua to a long-term deal, a long-term solution, we're not talking a 2-year, $30 million deal. We're talking 5-year, $80 million deal at minimum. It might even be 5-year, $100 million deal. And that's the reality of the NFL right now. The quarterbacks are not getting paid chump change. Brock Purdy's the only one right now floating around the NFL getting paid $900,000, under $1 million a year because he's on that rookie contract. And they didn't expect him to start right away. We talked about that the other day when they had Trey Lance, they had Jimmy G. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft, and was the third string quarterback. So him getting paid that little bit of money makes sense, right? Now, moving into the season, you're like, he almost brought you to the Super Bowl first year. Second year, brought you to the Super Bowl. You're like, okay, Brock Purdy's doing something right. So you look at Tua and you go, what kind of money are we talking? I mean, Baker Mayfield got, $40, $50 million? So now you have to really dial in and go, how much money do we pay Tua if he's healthy? Pretend he was never going to get hurt. Now you're pushing $80 to $100 million. That's just what the going rate is now for an NFL quarterback for that long-term deal, that's what it looks like. He's going to get a minimum of $80 to $100 million, right? So then you go, let's take into account injuries, right? You have to do that. You have to take into account injuries. It's just part of, as an owner, you have to do that. So are they going to dock him points on that and say, look, 3 years, $60 million? That would be a good situation, right? Like if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I got my quarterback I appreciate him, he's a good person. Praying he doesn't get hurt, keep building his offensive line, see if he can stay healthy, not have any of those issues. Even though, I know, Brian, you said that was a dirty hit. I know some people were saying that, hey, that was just a freak of nature that happens. But the truth is it did happen, right? So we got to be honest of the situation. So if he's a long-term deal, are we 3 years? Are we 5 years? That's where the money comes in. And that's where you decide, is Tua the long-term deal? He has the ability. I wish he would scramble more because that's what he did in college. And I'm not saying you should run around like, run around crazy like, Mike Vick, run around trying to do the whole thing. I'm not trying to say that. But what I am saying is you have to be a dual threat quarterback. Even Josh Allen is a dual threat quarterback, getting first downs with his legs, getting it done. He's not going to be Lamar Jackson. We're not asking Tua to be Lamar Jackson. We're just talking about being a dynamic dual threat quarterback. And when he's getting injured like that, you notice once that happened, he stayed in the pocket a lot. And he really wasn't scrambling that much. And I think that the defense has to believe that Tua will escape the pocket if they don't get on him. And I apologize here for this damn audio wire here. We're still fixing our audio components here. That's why I don't have my earpiece in. I got my headset on like we do for the play-by-plays. But let's move on to the next part of the piece of the pie here. Is he worth the deal, right? So you have, is he going to get the mega contract, and is he worth the mega contract, his ability? I think Tua goes through his reads well. I think he's a quarterback that the Dolphins like. I think the team likes him. And I also have this other, so we had the one picture of him lay on the ground. Here's a close-up of it, obviously, him on the ground a little closer. Anybody that sees this, whether you are a teammate or whether you are, the owner, whether you're the coach, or whether it's family members of you. And last season we went through this, and I had this conversation frequently because Tua was a big part of conversation when the Dolphins played. And every time you bring the conversation up with the Miami Dolphins, you talk about Tua and you talk about this injury and you talk about concussions and you talk about what's he going to get for the deal? Are they going to pay him? Are they going to draft a quarterback? If they wanted to do that, the best opportunity, if you ask me, was to draft a quarterback, let Tua be your starter, still give Tua a 2-year deal, maybe 2 years, $40 million, and let him be there. If he overextends and he's an overachiever in those 2 seasons, hey, maybe we can extend him for another 4. But the problem is, the issue is there. You have another quarterback you brought in from the draft that you're like, we're paying a lot of money to. We got to figure this out. So I'm just saying they got to make a decision with Tua. His ability, you got to pay the man. Like, that's where we're at right now. If he's on the field, he's on Sundays, he's not hurt. He's on the field Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and he's not being hurt. You got to pay this guy a lot of money. It's just part of what's happening, the piece of the pie for the Miami Dolphins. I like what he does. But let's move on to another piece of the pie here. Do the Dolphins have the best wide receiver group in the NFL? Right? Like, this is a conversation that you got to start thinking about, right? Like, they have, obviously, Tyreek Hill, Jaylen Waddle, and then here comes OBJ, right? And you go, and I'm not saying OBJ is as good as he was back in his Giants days. He's not. We got to be honest. He's not, right? What do you guys think in the chat right now? If you're watching this live, what do you guys think right now? Do the Miami Dolphins, yes or no in the chat, do they have the best wide receiver group in the NFL right now? Because look, just Jaylen Waddle and Tyreek Hill alone, tough to cover. I'm just saying. Both of them healthy, very tough to cover. If the offense line is doing their job, you're going to have a long night, especially with Raheem Mostert back there too, running the ball the way he does. You got Tyreek Hill hitting bubble screens. I'll tell you this, those go the distance, or he gets, like Tyreek Hill gets whopped, or he's making moves, takes a 5-yard pass into 80 yards. So that's great, but you need Jaylen Waddle out there, someone who's running 9 routes. If you're not familiar, 9 route is a deep fly, getting down the field, taking away some of the safeties, taking away corners if they're in cover 3, cover 4, whatever, bringing those guys back. And then you have OBJ. I don't think OBJ is, like I said, the giant OBJ. I'm not saying he's going to show up and he's going to ball out and he's scoring a touchdown. I'm not saying that. He is a receiver you still have to cover, right? And he's proven that, when he went to the Browns, a little stint there. But then he went to out to LA, played in LA. They won a Super Bowl. He got hurt, but he was a part of that. Then, you say, hey, where is he going to go next, right? He goes to the Ravens. They let him go right away. That was concerning because Lamar Jackson, they played well. They had a good season last year. And then they have OBJ, and they're like, we're cutting OBJ. So that's kind of a red flag too, right? Like, hey, you got OBJ on your roster. You can make a deal with him. With the Ravens, they played well. They cut him. The Dolphins pick him up. So it's clearly a number 3 receiver, and that's what they need. Like, they're not asking OBJ to come to the table and be a number 1 receiver because they got Tyreek and Jaylen Waddle. You put OBJ out there on the side. I'm just saying that's part of the situation. I think that makes them one of the best cores. And here's a funny picture here from Clutch Sports with Tyreek Hill going, "Oh shit, we got OBJ." Like, this is interesting. Like, we just went from having a great core locker room wide receiver position to saying, "Holy shit, we just got OBJ too." Right? Like, that's cool. We can appreciate that. We'll take him in with open arms. We like that. And then here's another picture here of Tua that is on the field after they played the Ravens. Here's a picture of Tua here hanging out with OBJ. And then you're like, shit, he's on my team now. Like, Tua just gained another offensive weapon that I think is important. And I love what he brings to the table. If just Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle were there alone, this is what that looks like. Very hard to cover. So I think this is a good situation. I think the Miami Dolphins have a great core of receivers. It's hard to argue, that they're not the best core when they have 3 offensive weapons like this. But I know a lot of people will say, I hate the Dolphins. I don't like the Dolphins. Some people have a lot to say about the Dolphins, and that's because they like other teams. I like talking about the Dolphins because of what they have. I am not a Miami Dolphins fan. I'm a fan of the game. I grew up north. I grew up in Jersey, New York, so I was never a Dolphins fan. There are some Dolphins fans up there, let me tell you. But at the end of the day, I love watching these players grow. I love what they're doing. Tua is looking for a contract. Tyreek Hill has a mega contract over $100 million. Jaylen Waddle has a shit ton of money as well. And then OBJ comes in and he signs a contract. So I'm just saying, they're looking to build. They're looking to win a Super Bowl. That's what Steve Ross down in Miami is doing. Steve Ross is the owner. That's what he's looking to do. He's looking to win a Super Bowl like everybody else. But it's, hey, let's go out there and put the money out, right? Everybody in the chat right now, throw the dice in the chat. If you're with me right now, throw the dice in here. I'm welcoming you guys to the morning show. Today we got the Miami Dolphins. You get ready because we got a lot to talk about, especially when we get to the play-by-plays live with the games on here Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. And don't forget, we also have during preseason, we have games on Fridays. We have games on Tuesdays. There's all kind of stuff happening. So we're going to be hanging out, watching live games, hanging out right here. There's going to be thousands of people coming in as we get started and build that. I'm freaking excited for that. And we're going to get all those people into our live stream, which is going to be a lot of fun. And let's move on to this. How will the Dolphins perform in the playoffs, right? Like, this is what I wanted to talk about, the relationship when you get to the playoffs. I believe, I'm going to show you right now who they're playing against. I got an image here. I believe it's right under here. If we got it, there we go. With the AFC, here we go. Who do we have? You got the Patriots, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. So it's hard to say right now. The Dolphins and the Bills, like, a lot of people will say the Dolphins and the Bills, one of them will win the conference, right? So getting to the playoffs, this is what I want to tell you. Those teams, the Patriots, after Belichick, they were in shambles. I mean, they're trying to build back up in shambles. Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, love the Bills. Bills Mafia, great organization. They lost Stephon Diggs. There's some turmoil there. We'll get to that when we talk about the Buffalo Bills as a full segment as we're doing today. We'll get to that as well. But I'm just saying this. The Miami Dolphins are a team to watch this season. Will they win the conference? They got some high hopes this year. Let's just say that. They got some high hopes. If you're going to bet, you got a pretty good money there. I mean, it's a good opportunity. The Buffalo Bills are going to be good. The Jets, a little bit in shambles. Aaron Rodgers is going to play. Is he getting older? We're going to do the whole Jets sequence. And then the Patriots, a lot of new stuff. So this season, the Miami Dolphins have a great opportunity there to get to the playoffs. But what is the most important piece, right? And I have a picture here to pull up against the Bills because that's the toughest opponent, I believe, obviously, for them. Josh Allen and Tua here battling, right? We saw last year, and then we also saw this. We saw Josh Allen get beat by Tua and go, shit, right? Like, upset about the game, and Tua said, hey, look, man, it's all good. It's all a game. We're here to ball out. But here's the concern when you get to the playoffs, right, how they perform, I believe, solely is really the ability of what your coach can put together. You're already going to be balling. You're already a great football player. I talked about this yesterday. They're not going to teach you how to be a good football player. They're not going to teach you how to run the ball. They're going to teach you how to throw the ball. What they're going to do is put together a great package, a great opportunity for your team to win. And that coach right there, Mike McDaniel, that's who Tua and his team have to be close with. Tyreek, Jaylen, Waddle, all these guys we talked about today. We got some defensive weapons too. We're going to dive into that another day and talk about who they brought in and stuff. But at the end of the day, that's the most important piece of the pie. And I have another picture of McDaniel. I got to tell you, Mike McDaniel is an interesting dude, right? Like I see him here. He's all business. He's on the field. He's all business walking around. And there was all these memes and stuff, like they're like, hey, he took over the offense. He took over the team. His dad's on vacation, kind of thing. Hit the like button if you're in here right now. I meant to say it. If you're in here right now for the first time or you've been here before, smack the like button right now before I introduce you guys, announce you guys. And then look, then you have this picture here, right? And you're like, this guy, man, he's one of those guys where he is the people's coach, right? If you're not familiar with what I'm saying right now, the people's coach is the guy where you're like, I love this guy, man. I love coming to work every day because this is my coach. What a great guy. Love working with this guy. Like, he's the people's coach, and he 100% is. And across the National Football League, everybody, you probably didn't have a lot of respect for him. A lot of people didn't. Just because, I don't know how to explain it, but just being a little younger, and he's been around the game a little bit. But, you just don't have a lot of respect for him because he's just a little quirky, I guess, if you want to say. Not knocking him, but everyone would say, a little quirky. Yeah, I see him running around the field and whatever. But he brought a lot to the table. The Dolphins were winning football games. And so people loved him. People liked him. He was kind of goofy. You see him after some of the conversations when he's out there running off the field at halftime. Reporters trying to talk to him, and he's like racing the reporter. He's having fun. He's enjoying it. He's enjoying the ride, the fun, the atmosphere. He's entertaining it. And the thing is, they need that morale, but you also have to come to the table with a game plan. They're going to win regular season games, kind of like how Dak Prescott was. Not worried about the Dallas Cowboys winning regular season games. I'm worried about the postseason. When you get there, will the coach, Mike McDaniel, get this done? Will Tua be healthy? That's the question. How will they perform in the playoffs is going to come down to who's healthy. Can they gel together? I have another picture here of all those players, but when I look at the whole thing, I actually pulled this up. Can Tua bring together his receiver core? A lot of times you can have all these great weapons, but there's a lot of individuals, right? Can you bring in Jaylen, Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and OBJ to bring one core? It's easy to have two wide receivers. It's easy to say Tyreek Hill over here, Jaylen Waddle over here. Can you do that and then add OBJ and say, let's keep that locker room tight. Let's keep those players tight. That's a question. That's a concern, right? We'll see if that happens. But yeah, I think that they'll have a good opportunity. And again, here's the picture that I just showed you before with Tyreek Hill going, shit, we got OBJ, man. Like, this is great. So they have an opportunity. They'll perform well. And I think they're going to go as far as, and I hate to say this, but as Mike McDaniel and the head coaching staff, as they can bring the opportunities to be great and put together a great plan of attack against whatever team they're playing, because they're going to come together with all the ability. Do they have the right plan in place? Is Tua checking into the right plays? Is he reading these safeties rolling up? Is he reading the corners? Is he looking at I'm going to go into this conversation too. A lot of people don't talk about this a lot, but I'm going to have a whole locker room and film room talk, where people don't really understand what's going on in the film room, how these quarterbacks are studying, how early they're there, what they're looking at. We're going to have a conversation about that, a long, drawn-out whole meeting where we're going to call it film room talk or locker room talk, or whatever you want to say. We're going to do that. But moving forward here, I have another piece and question here, last segment of today's show. Why NFL players are excited to play in Miami, right? Like, what brings them to Miami? What do they like? A lot of quarterbacks, right, would say, I love Miami, but they'd say it has to be the right situation because I have to have the right offensive line. I got to have this. And those quarterbacks are smart, and they got to do that. But you're playing in Miami, Florida, one of the best places in the world, right? Florida's a great state to live in. Tax purposes, there's no state income tax. Players could come down here, ball out, make a lot of money, save a lot of money. And a lot of other people, too, are down here, business relationships. You're playing in South Florida, enjoying your life. You have beautiful beaches. You have so many great things around you. Beautiful people. People are in shape. a lot going on, a lot of, if you want to say free enterprise, a lot of people building stuff, growing. We won't go into the whole political conversation at the moment, but we will say that there are some great opportunities in South Florida, and I think that's an important thing. In the Miami Dolphins, that was a picture of the stadium, and then we have a close-up here of the Miami Dolphins Stadium with the new logo, that was there a few years ago. And I'm just saying, it's a hell of a place to live. It's a great place to play. And I think that these players want to live and grow and build in those locations that they can enjoy and they're going to grow in. Like a lot of people, they go places, you go to college, and I've been talking about this before. If you go to college in some spot you're never going to live in, you meet all these networks and all these people, and then you leave and you go, wait a second, I just built all those networks over there, and I just left. And they're not based where I'm at now, and that's a problem. I think if you want to live in Florida long term and you're playing in the NFL, going to Miami is a great place if that's where you want to reside, because when you're playing football, that's your chance on a big stage to meet all these freaking people, and you can utilize that opportunity. In the house, I see on here said the weather. I'm going to go into your questions in here in a second. That is the ability to have the weather. The people. It gets a little humid in the summer. Let's call it like it is. If you go outside right now, the house is in here. You said, look, the weather. If you go outside right now, get your mail, take a shower. You go outside and walk your dog, take a shower. You go outside and have a conversation with your neighbor, take a shower. It is hot right now. It's called like it is. A lot of places in the world are hot right now, right? It's summer. But I'm just saying it's a great place to live, especially when it comes October or November, all the way through April. Oh, my God, the weather is fantastic. If you're in here right now, put where you're at, put where you're based. Drop it in the chat right now so people in here can see where you're based. A lot of people that are coming in, a lot of new faces, a lot of new people. But all I can say is this. The Miami Dolphins have a good opportunity. They have a lot of great players. I like what they're trying to do. The only thing I don't like about the Miami Dolphins is you go there and they go, and here comes the 1970 undefeated team. You're like, oh my God. Like, I love these people, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I love these people, but just, can we not do like I appreciate that. And man, they were good, but can we not announce them? Because what happens is you're like, okay, that was last. Everyone says that's the last time they were good, right? Like that was the last time the Miami Dolphins were good. So I'm just saying that's a problem. And again, I have on here the opportunity. We almost have this fixed up and dialed in. I have some conversation. I want to tell you guys what I'm building, what we're doing as we start the marketing and programming. We have sponsors coming and we have a lot of deals we have to sign. When we do that, the marketing starts, the advertising starts, and all these people start pouring in here at all social media and in our freaking platform. So I greatly appreciate every freaking one of you guys that's in here early before we start all the marketing and the opportunity for other people to come in here. But I do have on here, again, I showed you the other day, and we kind of got cut off a little bit due to some of the issues with the back of YouTube and the back end. But we do have this piece here now that is being added where when I click on it, and I just told you guys the other day, that won't be my picture right there. That will be your picture right there. When you say something at the top, your picture will pop up right there when I click on it, and your message will be right here in front of me, and I will be able to converse back and forth with you, and it will bring your question and what you said up on the screen. So whatever you're saying right now in the chat, I can click on it and it pops up right there, and people can converse with you right there to make things a lot easier, and which is interesting and it's entertaining. So we added that feature. It will be done soon. Look, I look forward to connecting with you guys every day. We're live every day, Monday through Friday, 10 to 10:30. And when we have a guest, we are here till 11 because we interview them, bring them on the show, and hang out for that time. But I will say this. We have guests that are ready to come on right now. I haven't brought them on because some of them are in different parts of the segment. So today I have an NFL guy who wants to come on the show. Great player, and I can announce him yet. As they come on the show, if we're talking about the Miami Dolphins, we don't want to bring in someone that plays for the Jets, right? Or plays for the Broncos, or someone that plays for the Cardinals. We bring them on here, or the Buffalo Bills, and we're talking about the Dolphins. So that's why they're not on the show here today. But we are building something huge. I want you guys to understand that. And on top of that, we have UFC fighters, MMA fighters. We have a lot of guys that want to come on right now. So you will be seeing that as well. I greatly appreciate all of you guys as we're building our platform, and I cannot wait for the season to start. I'm going to send you guys, I hope you guys are getting my emails. I want to converse back with you guys. We're doing some updates to that, so you will see how cool that's going to look. It's going to change a lot. You guys will be able to respond live on there back, and other people will be able to talk as well, and you'll see other people conversing back and forth on the email chain and on the site as you click on that. So those are some cool things. At the bottom of the screen here, too, there is a or when I'm doing my live thing here. Let me pull this back up here just so you guys can see at the bottom of the screen. That phone number there, that number is going to change, but currently, if you were to call that number, it calls in, and when you do that, I can pick it up and you're live on the line. So that will also be part of the show. People can call in live and do all that. So that's what we have a lot of stuff going on. You got it, D-Con. We live on stage. Pitbull Mama, I greatly appreciate you. You know that. The house, I appreciate you. He said the fans do live in the past. Let me see. I see what you're saying right there. And then let me see, Brian, what are you saying? Brian, if you could come down to Miami, come down. It doesn't have to be Miami. It could be South Florida. I got to tell you, it's a great place to live. Kenyatta, how you feeling? Everyone that's coming here, and I appreciate you. Throw the dice in the chat right now so I can announce your name as I see you popping in here. And I apologize. During the live show, it's a little harder because I can't stare at that because I have a lot to talk about. During the play-by-plays, I can stare at the freaking screen, hang out with you guys, which I cannot wait to go into. So just to give you guys an update, what's going on with that. During preseason, the first night game, we got locked in already to go. I got a whole list on here. I'm going to announce that this week when preseason starts. You better be ready to go because we're going to have the live games for preseason. I thought about doing halftime, like just first half of games. I might just do the whole game, but the starters come in and then it kind of gets a little bit drawn out. But we're going to do that. We're going to do the first preseason game. We're going to be live for the night game. And then also moving forward, remember this, we have Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night games. 3 freaking games a week. So we're going to have the prime games. I believe it's Thursday prime or whatever. There's all kind of shit going on. We're going to have Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night games every freaking week. So we're live 3. NBA was at best 3 games a week. And then we had playoffs and it started to get, I'll see you once a week. That kind of sucked when it got to the finals. And now we are going to be live 3 times a week for the play-by-plays and in the mornings, Monday through Friday, just like you're seeing right here. Then we're going to have guests on the show. Say the Sunday's over. Monday, we got a guest on the show from the game. So there's some cool stuff happening. You guys are going to love that, and I greatly appreciate you. If you're in here right now, smack the like button right now. Leave a comment in the chat. Throw the freaking dice in the chat. Throw the American flag in the chat. And we love all countries, but we're just using that because we're based here. We appreciate everybody, all the great people. And as we expand our show and build this in, I hope you guys are going to enjoy this because it's going to be a lot of fun. And I want to hear what you got to say. And I greatly appreciate everyone tuning in as we get started. Because as you saw with the NBA, you saw what happened. It started out, there's 20, 30 people. All of a sudden, 2,000, 3,000 people in the live stream. The same thing will happen here as we continue to do it. And also, when we go into the play-by-plays, there's going to be thousands of people. The first game will be a few hundred, and it'll go into thousands of people. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And again, you can see I'm fighting with this damn wire as we speak until they get this stuff fixed here in the studio. But I greatly appreciate you guys. Remember, it's freaking Tuesday. Enjoy your day. Let me get the date right. It is the 9th, Tuesday, July 9th. Get out there today. Enjoy your day. Have fun. Don't rush anywhere. Tomorrow's hump day. We get through the week, and the summer's grueling. If you got kids, you know what it's like. You wake up, you're like, I love having my kids home. I don't got to wake up early. I don't have to get to some place and drop my kids off and make lunches and all this kind of shit. Like, it's great, but it's also like, get out of my house, right? Like, let's get some things done. So, look, I greatly appreciate you guys. Everyone in here, stay safe. Have a great day. Tomorrow, we have another live show. Make sure you're on the email list, BrandonMasonShow.com. Go on and put your email in there. Make sure it's there. If it's there, you're getting emails, great. Jump on here at 9:55. Everyone that's in here right now, I need you guys to get on 9:55 because when you guys get on early, what happens is the other people start jumping on right away and the thing grows really fast. So we need everybody to get on here at 9:55 and get going, and we will move forward. I got some awesome stuff for you guys. And Pitbull Mama, check your direct message on Instagram after the show. Something was sent to you again. And I have a bunch of other stuff on here. Brian, if you could send me a direct message on Instagram, Brian, everyone that's on here at the moment right now, if you can, send me a DM. I want to make sure I'm connected with every single one of you guys on there, and I have some stuff going out to you guys and some gear that's going out for the Mason Mob, some awesome stuff. I greatly appreciate you guys. And the house, I'm coming to your freaking club. The house, I cannot wait to come to your club and check it out. And I owe you something, so I'm coming out there. I greatly appreciate you guys. And somebody is going to win a free Domino's or Papa John's package to your house for the first game. We got that kind of stuff. And don't forget, we got that wheel over here spinning. We're going to do some cool dynamic things and changes to that. But I greatly appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day this morning. And I always get on here early. Some people can't jump in this early because they have things going on. And again, the reason why I do it this early is because if I don't, the whole day goes by, and all of the stuff that came out the day before is all gone, and I show up and I say, hey, did you know that so-and-so got traded or so-and-so got hurt? Everybody's like, yeah, I heard it all day. So that, so I come on for the morning shows at 9:55. Countdown starts at 10. I want you guys to get in here early, and then I have the play-by-plays at night for all the games. We're also doing, by the way, there are some games that are over in London. They're 9:30 our time. We're covering those too. So in the morning, if it's at 9:30, I'm on here live for that game. Don't worry about it. Just go on here, go on YouTube, type Brandon Mason Show, and you'll see what's live. You'll get my emails. You'll know when we're live. And I got some awesome freaking giveaways for everybody. So do not miss that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I look forward to having a party for the Mason Mob. We're going to have all the people coming to the damn party for the Mason Mob. We had a long conversation today. Brian, come to South Florida. You're going to love it. Send me a direct message. I will help you out. Trust in what I tell you. Anything you guys need. When I travel to your city, come out. Let's take a picture together. I'm looking forward to doing that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And post again, I'll pop it up on the screen. It's going to be great. As we close out today, everybody right now, drop the dice in the chat. If you're watching this right now, drop the dice in the chat. D. Coleman, we're live on stage. Drop it in the chat right now as we sign off. We're going to get used to getting our freaking good mornings and our goodbyes and our freaking partnership and together we're building. I'll make sure we connect with everybody on here. Drop it in there right now because I'm getting ready to sign off for today. Have an excellent, excellent, excellent Tuesday as we move forward. And anything that you guys need, you guys can always reach out to me. I look forward to any businesses you guys have. Drop them in the chat whenever you want. I will make an announcement for you guys because you guys mean a lot to me. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 9:55. Do not miss it. Everyone that's in here right now, come at 9:55. We're going to have an awesome freaking day. Today was a great conversation about the Miami Dolphins and Tua, what to expect. There's going to be a lot more conversation when the season starts so we can break down what's going on, each individual play. And the play-by-plays will not be like you've seen before, where it's just basketball hanging out. It's going to be more dynamic. They come to the line of scrimmage. They got two wide. They got a guy in the backfield. They got a guy in motion. They just ran this. Yada, yada, yada. We're going to break it all down. That's my league. Football's my sport. That's what I did, so I can break it down all the way. The fundamentals are great. We had over 2,000 people on NBA. Just wait until you see the NFL season. You guys have an awesome rest of your Tuesday. Remember, have a good morning. Have a lot of fun. Say hi to people. Open some doors. Have a good time. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 9:55. Check it out on YouTube. I'll see you guys soon.